open session, and that will be a live presentation. My name is Adam Kubiak, and today I will try to present you WB2000 sawmill with its associated material handling equipment like loading decks, sorting tables, and also MR200 double Arbor Multirip, which we had a chance to present 2 weeks ago. At the beginning of the presentation, I also want to thank you all for your active presence in the previous open session which we organized so far. All together we recorded over 13,000 openings. We are going to continue our activity with open sessions, and we also want to ask you to take the same active part in the next presentation, which we are going to organize soon. Maybe just a few words about my person. I have been working for Wood-Mizer for over 21 years. First 12 years I was working as a mechanical engineer here, and then for following 3 years my position was engineering department manager. Over three years ago I was promoted, and my current position is industrial sales manager. Today's presentation will be supported by our friends from customer service department, Mr. Maciej Dzięciołowski, who is one of the most experienced servicemen in our service department. We have also Mr. Adrian Bugała and Mr. Adrian Jóźwiak. We have 2 cameramen, our friends from marketing department, Mr. Marcin Piotrowski and Mr. Cezary Ponikły. Today's divided into 3 parts. In first part of the presentation, we are going to show you WB2000 sawmill with its associated equipment. I will try to present you all basic parameters and functionality. Second part of presentation will be the cutting presentation. We will try to show you the machine in a cutting. And last, third part of the presentation, it will be a questions and answer section. In that part you will be able to ask some questions, and I will try to answer those questions. Right now we are in short intro. We will see each other after several seconds. Thank you and see you soon. Hello again. We had some small technical problems, but we are back. I want to point out that today's presentation is a live presentation, so please forgive us in case of some unexpected things which could happen during the presentation. Also, the machines which we present here, those machines are set up here just temporary. Those machines are not anchored to the ground. Also, the ground is not even, so some unexpected situation could happen, but we will try to do our best just to do that presentation as good as possible. Okay, let's come back to our main topic of the presentation, WB2000 sawmill. First WB2000 sawmill we produced and sold in December 2015. Since then we were able to produce and sell 62 units, and next units are in a production process. All those WB2000 units are working around the world. There are many sawmills working in Europe. Some sawmills are working also in Asia, Africa, North and South America. In some, I think worth mentioning is that the most remote location where our machines are working are such countries like the Philippines, French Guiana or Costa Rica. When I start presenting all particular elements of the machine, I will try to point out what are the differences version Pro versus version Eco. Generally, WB2000 sawmill we can divide into two main groups. Version Pro as presented today and versus version Eco. And all differences will be described during the presentation. Okay, let's start from the main element of the machine, the cutting head. I think initially we focus on the blades. I will ask a cameraman just to point his camera to the blade. Generally, WB2000 head is prepared for 3 blade widths. Is prepared for 2-inch wide blade, 3-inch blade and 4-inch blade. 2 and 3-inch blade we can prepare, we can service with using standard Wood-Mizer blade maintenance equipment like industrial sharpeners like BMS 500 or BMS 600. Also we are able to set the teeth with standard industrial tooth settler like BMT 250 or BMT 300. So if we decide to go with machine which is adopted to 50 or 75 millimeters wide blade, 2 or 3 inch, we are able to do the blade maintenance with standard Wood-Mizer equipment. If we decide to go with wider blade, 100 millimeters blade, what is a 4-inch, here we approach wide blade technology. With wide blade, with 4-inch blade, we can get better result than results which we are able to get with narrow blades. But we need to remember that the blade preparation process, the blade service is far more complicated. We need experienced, skilled people to prepare the blade correctly. If we don't have those people, our strong recommendation is just to choose the machine with narrow blade. And based on my collected data, I think I don't make big mistake if I say that over 90% of the machines which we produced so far were equipped with 75 millimeters wide blade. And also that type of the blade is installed on our machines which we are going to present you today. The blade is supported by 2 blade guides. There are 2 blocks for guiding, for supporting the blade. And here differences. 2-inch blade, 50 millimeters blade is supported with blade guide rollers. So here we have similar situation like in standard regular sawmills. 75 and 100 millimeters wide blade is supported by blocks. A linear blade speed, I think that parameter is worth mentioning. Factory setting is 22 meters per minute, the rim speed, and that is kind of universal blade speed. With that speed we are able to process both softwood and hardwood. If our dominant production profile is softwood, then we can recommend you to increase linear blade speed. With correct pulley skid, we are able to increase that blade speed up to 26 meters per minute. And that linear blade speed allows us to process softwood species in very efficient way. Also, we have option with frequencer, which controls RPM of the rotation of main electric motor. With using frequencer, we are able to control or set linear blade speed from 18 up to even 32 meters per minute. Frequencer we usually recommend when any potential customer, besides standard species of wood, is going to process also some tropical woods. Then with that wide range of settings, we are able, or customer is able, to prepare the machine for any cutting scenario in most optimal way. So we have various possibilities of optimization there. We can choose wide range of available blades profile, and with testing different linear blade speed, we can get very good positive cutting results. The blade is mounted on two iron cast blade wheels. Diameter of both blade wheels is 800 millimeters, what is about 32 inches. The blade is crowned. The crown on the blade wheel allows us to correctly track the blade. It means that from time to time we need to do the blade wheel crown regeneration. How often we need to regenerate the crown? Based on our data collected from the market, if the machine is used one shift operation, then we need to do the regeneration once per 2 years. And the regeneration is just very gentle grinding the wheel. Okay, what we have more here? Both blade wheels are oiled. Right here, I think, I'm not sure whether it will be correctly visible. There are felts on both sides which are filled with the oil. The oil dosers are located on the back side of the head. Also, both wheels are scraped. The blade itself is also lubricated with using standard Wood-Mizer system. We have two modes here with loop system. We can use constant spraying or intermittent spraying. Additional possible equipment of WB2000 head: debarker, which is optional equipment here. We have laser on the back side of the head. Yes. Okay, let's move to the side of the machine and focus on some elements which are located here. That unit here is a manual pump, which the purpose of it is just to tension the blade. Right here on the head there is the sticker which shows suggested pressure for typical blade width. So we have 3-inch blade, 4-inch blade, and range of recommended pressure for those blades. That element, that part here, is, we call it oil accumulator. A purpose of that element is to keep the pressure inside the unit stable. Sometimes we have situation when we start cutting the wood and the wood structure is not homogeneous. For example, part of the wood is soft and then suddenly we enter big knots. In knots, the wood is usually harder. Then we have situation that the load of the blade is temporarily much higher than normal. And then we have situation that the blade is losing the tension for a very short moment. We can compare that situation when, for example, we ride bicycle and suddenly we press pedals hardly. Then there is a situation that the chain on the top of the sprocket is getting tensioned, but the chain on the back side, on the bottom side, is getting loose. And then roll of that oil accumulator is just to compensate that short droppage of the oil pressure. Next equipment. Right here we have up-down gearbox. We use Nord type, is helical bevel gearbox with very high efficiency. Efficiency of the gearbox is 96%. The gearbox is controlled by a frequencer. Up-down movement is relatively fast, I think. Maximum up-down speed we are able to get is about 10 meters per minute. Because the gearbox is controlled by frequencer, we are able to position the head in a very quick and accurate way. There is kind of, we call it crane or elevation controlling mode, which helps with durability of that gearbox. How it works? When we want to position, when we want to stop the head at any certain level, the stopping mode, the electric motor is physically stopped by the frequencer. And when the frequencer physically stops the motor, then the electric brake is activated. So it means the electric brake, the pads doesn't brake, they just keep the electric motors in stop mode. And that situation causes that the brake is very durable. Okay, some other head elements. Here we have a board removal system, fingers just for pushing out the boards, and here some chains, some guides, which also helps us just to guide the board while removing them from the lock. On the left side of the head there is main electric motor located, and as a standard, in standard WB2000 equipment, we offer 30 kW, what is 40 horsepower electric motor. Optionally, we can choose bigger 37 kW, what is 50 horsepower electric motor. I think also I will ask to point the camera to that part, that middle top part of the head, and right here there are those oil dozers located. By them we can adjust the rate of oiling the blade wheels. There are some small windows where we could monitor and control the oil drop and that oil then is used for greasing, for lubricating the wheels. The head is located on two post mast, or that's kind of gate type mast, gate type upright. Power feed, we have two gearboxes located on both sides of upright, and that configuration allows us to move the head both forward and backward in very stable way. And also with gearboxes located on both sides, we are able to remove, with using the head we can remove relatively heavy sawn cans and boards. Maximum weight of the can of the board which we can safely remove with using the head is 300 kilograms. So that is maximum can weight which we are able to remove by the head. If you want to remove some heavier cans, then we need to use some hydraulic equipment which is mounted on the machine's bed. Okay, right now maybe let's focus on the machine's bed and the hydraulic configuration. I will ask operator just to move the head a little bit backward. Let's close the cover, because without closing it we are not able to move it. There are some safety switches there which prevents from moving when any cover is open. Okay, let's move it back. Okay, WB2000 bed. As you see, very strong construction. Main beams, main elements of the bed, there are 400 C-beams located on both sides of the bed. Also the cross sections are very strong. That construction, that welding construction, allows us to operate the log with maximum weight of 6,000 kilograms. 6 tons logs we are able to handle with that bed. A hydraulic configuration. We have wide choice of hydraulic equipment. What we have available: vertical side supports, which are located just within the or particular cross section, main clamp, which also could be located in any section, log turners. Here in that particular bed or hydraulic equipment we have 2 log turners, power rollers or just leveling roller. We have also available, we can put here a 2-side clamp. That particular machine is not equipped with pull-down clamps. That machine is prepared for the customer. Just after presentation, we are going to ship the machine to the customer and do installation. And that particular machine was not specified with pull-down clamps, but there is of course, physical possibility to add that equipment. As you see, the bed is made in some kind of modular way. All cross sections are the same, and also distances between all particular cross sections are also even. It means that we have very flexible bed, and with that bed we can arrange hydraulic for any particular application. When we have some potential customer inquiry, we usually ask a lot of additional questions. For us to arrange the hydraulic properly, the most important thing is to collect information like log length, minimum log length, maximum log length, and the most important, average log length. Based on those information, we are able to prepare drawing with proposed hydraulic arrangement. We see location of our particular hydraulic equipment in relations with specified area log lengths. And that drawing is sent to the customer. Before finalizing that order, we ask a customer just to formally confirm it. We simply ask whether proposed hydraulic configuration is accepted by the customer. Also, it's worth mentioning, sometimes we have situation that customer is not 100% sure whether specified log lengths are the final log lengths, because sometimes in real life something could change. That bed configuration allows us, in most cases, allows us to change that configuration after the machine's installation. So in some situation where we need to change preliminary arrange hydraulic location, just after installation there is such a possibility. There are of course some limitations, but in many scenarios we are able to change hydraulic location just after installation. Okay, let's come back to the back side of the bed. Right here there is an oil divider located. As far as oil divider is concerned, in Pro version we have oil divider which is controlled by electric valves. In an economical version, the oil divider is located on the operator stand, just below the operator panel, and is controlled manually. So next difference, Pro versus Eco. In version Pro, there is a hydraulic divider with electric valves. Eco version, we have manual oil divider located on the operator stand. Operator stand is located right here, as we see, is separated from the bed, and here there is next difference, the version Pro versus version Eco. In version Eco, operator stand is physically integrated with the bed, and this causes some limitation regarding maximum cutting length. As far as the cutting length is concerned, we have two standard options. There is so-called S-type bed, so short version of the bed, and with short version we are able to process logs up to 4.5 meters long, and there is longer version, M-type bed. With medium type bed we are able to cut logs up to 7.5 meters long. There is also extension available. Standard extension length is 2 meters. But in a real world, based on my information and also the projects I made so far, I think I don't do big mistake if I say that over 50% of the machines produced so far were with custom length bed. That bed allows us to do a special bed based on the customer requirements in relatively easy way. Okay, let's move to the back side of the operator stand. Just below the operator stand there is a hydraulic pump located, and here next difference in versus Pro, so the version as we present today. Standard hydraulic pump is equipped with 7.5 kW electric motor. The oil flow is 27 liters per minute. We have also available a stronger 11 kW electric motor, and the pump and the oil flow with that stronger electric motor is almost 50 liters per minute. In Eco version, the pump which is available there is with electric motor's power 5.5 kW, and the oil flow is 17 liters per minute. So hydraulic of Eco version in comparison to a Pro version is a little bit slower. Okay, a few words about the operator stand and also the operator's location. As you see, the operator stand is equipped with comfortable seat. There are two joysticks on both sides of the seat. Those joysticks are just for controlling all features on the head and also on the bed. On the right side of the operator's stand we can see a screen, and that screen is connected with cameras. In that screen we can see picture from the cameras. Two cameras is standard equipment of the sawmill, and that is kind of safety requirements. One camera must point to the blade, and the second camera must show the operator what is going on behind the head. Because the operator has some limited visibility of what is going there behind it, that camera helps him just to avoid some unexpected situation. Here, because the machine is installed for presentation purposes, we installed just one camera which actually shows us the blade. The second camera usually is mounted when the machine is mounted at the customer place. We usually mount it to the roof construction and or just some walls. Optionally, we can also add next 2 cameras, and so to sum up, 2 cameras are standard equipment, and we have possibility to add next 2 cameras. That system allows us to do that. On the left side, we have a 12-inch touch screen, which is connected with a PLC setwork, PLC controller. Just few words about the touch screen and also the PLC controller there. PLC controller has a lot of functions and a lot of settings. It's not possible to describe full functionality of the setwork. To do this, we need a separate presentation where we could focus just on that controller, on that setwork. Today I want to present you the most useful, the most typical features of PLC controller. Okay, let's start. The main screen shows us, I think let's press it to, yeah, let's go to the language version. We have 6 language versions available. There is of course English, Polish, German, Spanish and some others. At the top of the screen we see 2 lights. Right now the head light is activated. It means that the controller is in head mode, and with head mode we are able to control all head functions like up-down movement, forward and backward head movement. We can position blade guide roller, we can activate or deactivate debarker, also we can control debarker, the laser, the oil lubrication system, so all features which are on the head. Positioning the head, I think is quite interesting, and that is something what could be good information for you. Regarding the positioning the head, we have 3 main modes. There is mode, the most popular mode is so-called stack mode, where a reference is from the bottom of the bed. The bed line is a reference point. Next is so-called ref mode, so the reference is from the top of the log, and third is the pattern. Regarding the stack mode, there are 4 independent programs available, and in every program there are 10 independent lines with some numbers, and every number refers to each board thickness. So it shows the thickness of each board of the stack there. When we start cutting, we can use program which was previously preset. If the operator decides to change any cutting width on fly, just dynamically before starting a next cut, he is able to do that. Even now we see there are some 110 measurements. Yeah, the operator right now is changing a thickness of previously preset board thickness. And there is also automatic cutting mode available here. How we can use that mode? Just to use that mode, first we have to prepare the program. We have to prepare the cutting pattern, define our board thicknesses. Then we need to load the log on the bed. Then we need to position the head at the beginning of the log and just confirm it. That is kind of defining the position, the entry position of the head. After defining it, we need to move the head at the back side of the log, and also we need to define where physically the log ends. And after defining those two parameters and choosing already prepared program, we are able to use the head in automatic mode. When the mode is activated, then the operator's role is only just to keep the pedal pressed. If something unexpected happens, just to deactivate automation mode, all what operator needs to do is just to unpress that pedal. There is also cruise mode available. With cruise mode, we are able to optimize feed speed. To do this, initially we need to preset maximum allowable power and then maximum allowable feed speed. Priority is the preset power, and when we start cutting, the controller is comparing both parameters that way that just not to exceed previously preset the power. So let's describe it on some example. We start cutting and initially the log is relatively soft. The cutting feed speed is relatively fast, and then suddenly we enter a harder part of the log. There is a big knot, or the log is getting wider. Then the load on the electric motor is higher. The load is associated with power consumption. If the power consumption exceeds previously preset value, the feed speed will be slowed down automatically. There is also diagnostic mode where we can check whether all sensors and all functions work correctly. We have also possibility to take a look on the history of errors which appeared earlier and simply verify it. There are also all basic parameters. I think all parameters displayed there, like current head position, current mast position in terms of the bed, also the main motor power, and some other parameters. Okay, right now let's switch to the bed mode. Okay, we see that light close to that bed name is shining. Right now with both joysticks we are able to control hydraulic equipment. I think we can do a short demonstration of a hydraulic. I will ask operator just to move vertical side supports up and down. Okay, let's move it. We see the oil pump is activated and the operator, with using the joystick, is able to actively control the vertical side supports movement. Okay, right now let's move the lock turners. We see the operator move the joystick to the right. Both turners are moved up, and right now let's turn it. Okay, we see both lock turners are turning. So a very easy process, easy to control, very good visibility. Okay, right now let's move lock turners, power rollers. Yes, the first power roller is up, second and third. Okay, and now let's turn it. Okay, operator moved it down. Let's move it up again. Okay, and let's start turning it. We see two first rollers are turning. Those two first rollers are, we call it power roller. The first roller is just leveling roller. Okay, let's move it down, and then the main clamp. Okay, we see main clamp arm is up, and right now is initiating clamping. It's moving back and going down. Okay, and then let's do right now let's activate loading decks arms. Okay, we see operator just is initiating loading the logs. Okay, let's move it up again. Right now the transporting chains on the loading decks arms were activated, and right now loading deck is back on its initial position. Regarding the hydraulic equipment, in Pro version there is also a proportional valve available, and with that proportional valve we are able to dynamically decrease speed slow the speed of some hydraulic equipment. Sometimes that option is necessary when we are supposed to process some gentle species of wood. We want to process relatively thin boards or small cans. We don't want to damage those cans while manipulating those cans, or just simply clamping those cans. With a proportional valve, we are able to slow down the hydraulic mechanism movement, and with those slow movements we are able to control precisely the positioning and also clamping the can and all other functions. And that proportional valve is also available only in Pro version. There is no possibility to add that valve to version Eco. Okay, I think let's move to the next equipment which is presented here today, to loading deck. Loading deck is located on the left side of the machine. Regarding the loading decks, we have wide choice of different loading decks in terms of length, in terms of width. Standard log deck length is 3.6 or 6 meters. There are log decks with 2 chains, log decks with 3 chains, but recently we manufacture more and more custom log decks. What means custom? Sometimes there is some limitation. The production facility is not wide enough, and it's not possible to. There is physically no enough space to install standard log deck. Just to make it shorter or make it longer, there is no that physical limitation. So physically we can offer you standard, but we are also able to propose you a custom log decks as well. That particular log deck is equipped with the chains, with transporting chains on its loading arms. That is, I think, kind of new things. We already built 2 log decks equipped with transporting chains, and third one is in production process. Those transporting chains are recommended in situation when a customer, most of all, or in his dominant production is irregular logs, big logs with not regular shape. Those chains help a lot to load the log to the beds in a very active, efficient way. Also, those chains sometimes are used for loading not just logs but cans. We have one customer who asked us some time ago to build log deck which allows him to load big cans. He buys preliminary cut logs, and he wanted to have possibility to load those cans to the machine's bed. With those chains we are able to load both irregular shaped logs and also cans. Okay, let's move backward, and few words about next equipment which we present here. I will ask operator to move the head a little bit forward. Okay, head tracking conveyor. That is something, I think, something new. In standard bed version, we have a belt conveyor which is inbuilt in the machine. It's also tilted. We are able to adjust correct angle, but when that angle is adjusted once, it's not possible to change the angle while operating that machine. That type conveyor, the purpose of it is just to collect sawn timber from the bed and avoid situation that sawn timber, especially when we are trying to remove it from the top of the log, avoid situation that board or cant is physically hitting some transporting equipment which is supposed just to take it over and transport somewhere else. That conveyor is recommended mostly to collect hard species. Sometimes we have situations, especially when we process oak, when we are trying to remove it, when it hits, oak has tendency to crack while removing. With that belt head tracking conveyor, that conveyor helps us a lot to avoid that situation. So head tracking conveyor, additional equipment available now. So far we built 2 those type of belt conveyors, and we are in process of building next one. Okay, let's move backward. Sorting table. A few words about sorting table. Sorting tables we implemented to production about, I think, 2.5 years ago. We have 3 options, main options of it. There is electric, pneumatic, and hydraulic. The sorting table which we present today is electric. As you see, is equipped with some pushers, some dogs, with them we are able to transfer some timber to the right or to the left. Pneumatic and hydraulic, okay, maybe let's demonstrate quickly. I will ask operator just to move those chains to the right or to the left. Okay, we see pushers. Right now we are able to transfer some timber to the right. Right now it's to the left, so opposite side. Yes. And rollers. Okay, thank you. In pneumatic or hydraulic version, those chains are moving up and down. What's the difference? Electric, pneumatic, hydraulic. With hydraulic and pneumatic, we are able to collect sawn timber from more than one sawmill. We could have situation that there are 2 sawmills in the row, and also we have one edger or one multirip, and we want to collect that sawn timber from both machines and transfer it to one edger or just multirip or any other equipment. A pneumatic and hydraulic sorting table allows us just to collect and transfer sawn timber from more than just one sawmill. Electric is the most economical version, I think, allows us just to collect sawn timber just from one sawmill. Then we can also wonder what's the difference pneumatic versus hydraulic. If dominant production is just heavy cants, heavy elements, then a hydraulic will be a good choice. For standard production, pneumatic will be, I think, the best optimal version. Regarding the sorting modules, the length of one particular module is 3 meters. It is possible to multiply it just to adopt it to any cutting expectations. With one module we are able to transfer the material to the left, to the right, or straight. Here we have one example industrial setup where we have a multirip located on that side. How we can arrange it in different and I think the most practical way. When we have multirip and, for example, edger available, we can arrange the setup this way, that multirip could be located as it is now. The edger could be located on that side. So, for example, on unedged boards could be automatically transferred to the right side and then to the edger. All cans could be transferred to the multirip, and all waste material could be transferred straight. Just behind it we can put, for example, belt conveyor or shaking conveyor, and all waste could be automatically transferred to the chipper. There is also possible to multiply complete modules, and with few modules we can get some sorting lines. We can get few sorting pockets by multiplying all particular modules here. Also, the transferring material from that crossfeed to the Multirip, here we have manual feeding. I mean the feeding the Multirip, but there is also possibility, physical possibility to do that feeding automatic. Regarding MR200 Multirip, we had presentation of MR200 Multirip 2 weeks ago. The video is also available on social media on YouTube channel and on Facebook. So if you are interested, just please take a look on it. There's white material presenting all parameters and functionality of that Multirip. As double arbor, maximum count thickness we are able to process here is 200 millimeters. We have also a stand with some tools, with circular saws which are located here. Some of those saws could be used on the presented double arbor Multirip. Okay, so I think we just finished second part of a presentation where we presented all machines, features and its parameters. Right now we are going to the second part of presentation, to the cutting presentation, and after that we will start questions and answer section. Thank you for your attention. Okay, we see the operator is just positioning the head just for loading the log. Vertical side supports are raised. The log is transferred to the machine's bed. As I said, that place here, the floor is not even, the angles are not proper, and here we see that transferring is not that effective, but after final installation, when the machine is installed at customer place with proper angles, that transition is far more smoother. Right now with power rollers, the operator is trying to position the log correctly on the machine's bed. The log turners. With log turners, the operator is also able to properly set the log for initial cut. Okay, the main clamp is clamping the logs against the side supports. Very important here is just to set the log properly for initial cut. If we have it set properly, then our recovery is really high. Okay, and right now we see the head is activated. The blade is on, and right now operator, yeah, he just started initial cut. You see that the head tracking conveyor is up. Now operator decided to do 2 cutting strokes. The head tracking conveyor moves up automatically when the head is on return mode. Okay, and right now we try to remove. And we see the transition, very gentle transition. Also the log which we cut here is oak, so very hard and vulnerable for cracking species of wood. Okay, next cut. Right now I think the operator is using the stack mode on the PLC setworks. The debarker is on, creating that groove just before the blade, so the blade enters clean wood. It extends the blade life significantly. Head tracking conveyor is again in up position. The second cut. And you see that those pieces operator decided that this could be waste and could be transferred straight. The board will be transferred to the sorting table and probably move to the right, yes. And next board and probably the same situation. The board is pushed out now, transferred to the head tracking conveyor, then taken by sorting table and transferred to the right. Repositioning the log. Okay, the operator now is trying to open a third side of the log. He is clamping the log against the side supports. Okay, and next cut. So right now the operator opens a third side of the log. And we see when the head is on the return mode, the head tracking conveyor is moved up automatically. And the board probably transfer to the right. No. The operator decided that previous board is just a waste, so that is why he decided to transfer it straight. And right now MR200 Multirip is activated, so probably operator will cut some cans and will try to transfer those cans to Multirip and process them there. That is 75mm thick can. That oak which we are cutting now is just customer's oak, and we discussed with the customer how he wants to have it cut. That is why we cut based on the customer's recommendation. And right now the operator is preparing the can for processing it on MR200 Multirip. Positioning the cant, and here, as I said earlier, here we have manual feeding, but there is physical possibility just to do the feeding automatic. So then we have one operator less, and as you see, very efficient extraction system. Right now we have a situation where both MR200 Multirip and WB2000 Sawmill work at the same time. So I think altogether pretty nice operation. Then we can imagine a situation that we have a edger on the other side and then some chippers. So we have very nice complex industrial line. Very efficient transferring. Operator decided to remove 3 cans at the same time. Stack of 3 cans. Another cant cut on Multirip. There are 10 blades installed there, so there is also possibility to add more. It depends what is the material thickness and also what species of wood we are going to cut. Już to są. And we see there are 3 cans there, and the operator decided just to turn all those 3 cans and cut them simultaneously. Hello again. So we just finished the second part of our presentation, just cutting presentation. Thank you all for your attention and see you shortly on questions and answer section. Thank you. Hello again on questions and answer section. We already received some questions, and right now I will try to answer them. The first question is what's the efficiency of cutting on WB2000? I think with WB2000 a lot depends on the operator, how he is experienced, how he is able to handle the log, what is his feeling about the log. But based on collected data from the market, I think efficiency, I think better word will be recovery, I think, is about 65%. And the second question is what is the difference between WB2000 and LT70 heavy duty. Visual difference is on WB2000, as you see in the head, there is a big head which is located on a two-post mast. LT70 heavy duty is located on, is mounted on a single post mast. So that is first visual difference. Second difference is the maximum log weight we are able to process on that machine. With WB2000 we are able to process logs with maximum weight up to 6 tons. Also the main electric motor, maximum power of main electric motor we can put on the machine. With WB2000 we have two choices of 30 or 37 kW electric motors. On the LT70 heavy duty, 22 kW electric motors, that is maximum what we can put on the machine. Also the blades. On LT70 heavy duty there is a 38 mm wide blade, or in the standard version is a 50 mm wide blade. On WB2000 we have wider choice, we can put on 50 mm, 75 or 100 mm wide blade. And also I think the biggest difference, so there are a few visual differences, but the biggest difference is the production we can get on both machines. With WB2000 average output production we can expect is about 25 cubic meters of logs per shift. With LT70 heavy duty, I think average output production could be about 15-17 cubic meters of logs per shift. Next question. What types of blades can I put on these machines? I think I tried to present that information when I discussed the blades. So again, WB2000, we have three options here. The narrower we are able to put on is 50 millimeters. 75 millimeters is kind of standard blade. So as I said, over 90% of sawmills which we produce so far are adopted to 75 millimeters wide blade, 3-inch blade, and also we have possibility to put on 100, what is 4 inches wide blade. Also for any blade, for every blade, we need to have a separate set of blade wheels. There is a separate set of wheels for 50 millimeters wide blade, separate set of wheels for 75, and separate for 100 millimeters wide blade. Also, there is physical possibility if when we define the sawmill and we decide initially to go with one certain blade, for example 75 millimeters, and then when we start using that machine we want to switch, we want to change to different, to 50 or 100, there is also that a possibility. The head is prepared to change it later. All what we need to do in that situation is just to equip the machine with new set of blade wheels. What is the maximum weight of the processed log? 6 tons. Now, maximum length, weight of the log we can put, we can manipulate on the bed is 6 tons. How much time does it take to train the operator? It depends on the operator's perception and also the cutting reality. But average training time, based on our information, on our experience, is just 1 day. 1 day is training, and the second day is just monitoring the process. So our service usually stays there for 2 days, and 1 day they dedicate for training, and second day they just monitor the operator, and if necessary they correct him. So altogether 2 days. Do you have in your offer more transfer tables or accessories to use in production line? Yes, we have wide choice of available tables. There are we can multiply sorting tables. We have 3 choices of just sorting tables, as I said before. It could be electric, pneumatic or hydraulic. We have also wide choice of chain tables. We can adopt it to any scenario. We can customize the length, we can customize the width, and also we can customize a number of chains. We have also available some spiral roller conveyors, belt conveyors, and many others. If you need any special configuration, please contact me. Send me your requirements. I will, and based on collected data, I think I should be able to prepare you some proposal. Can the loading ramp be installed on the other side? Yes, there is that possibility, and honestly, quite often customers ask for that, and we already produced few machines, I think over 10 machines with loading deck located on opposite side. To do this, we need to equip the machine's bed with additional dedicated vertical side supports which are located on the other side of the bed, and those side supports are just to help in loading the log. Those side supports prevent the log from rolling out from the machine's bed. So there is that physical possibility. Next question, can I order an operator booth cabin? Yes, the operator cabin is additional equipment, accessories here. Together with operator cabin, we can also install air conditioner and heating center. What blades are used on WB2000? Hook angle profile and which type? Double hard, silver tip? Yes, all the those types of blades are available. There is wide choice of blade profiles, and also because of simplicity of manufacturing the blade with any angles, we can do a lot of tests just to prepare the cutting process in the best possible way for the customer. So when we have situation where we are supposed to process there's some untypical cutting circumstances there, we are able to prepare few different blades for testing purposes. How long can this mill cut? On daily basis, honestly, there is no any limitation. There are some places where the machine is used for one shift. There are places where machine works 2 shifts, but there are also places where machine works 3 shifts. So honestly, there are no any limitation. As I said, so far we produced 62 units. Those machines are working in different locations of the world. We have very positive feedbacks about the machine performance, and honestly we are confident with that machine. That is why we are not afraid to send that machine to that far remote locations. Is the track the same, steel tubing with hardened rods, top and bottom? There is no hardened rod here. There is a triangle profile here, which is also hardened. And the triangle profile here is physically bolted. If it wears, it is simple possibility to replace it. So not rod, it's not round shape, it's triangle shape, bolted, and possible to replace it. Will it be available in US? Yes, the machine is available in US. I think already, 1 or 2 WB2000 machines are working in US, and third one is in production process. So the machine is available in US market, on US market. Okay, and that was I see the last question. Yes. Okay, thank you very much for your attention, and see you soon on next presentation. Thank you again.